Today is September 3rd. Jake and I wearing somewhat matching outfits, here to talk about the Yanks.
Talking Yanks with old John Boy, Jake. Recaps galore, weekly awards, stat lines, steam and hot takes. Get your Yankees news from these two fine dudes. It's time for Talkin' Yanks. Talking Yanks with old John Boy and Jake. Talking Yanks with old John Boy and Jake.
Hello and welcome to Talkin' Yanks. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Jimmy. His name is Jake. BBD in the corner. We got bantering with Boone. We got sharp stats. It's getting fun because it's September and the weather's nice. It's baseball, like my baseball season. Baseball's got 3 different seasons. It's a long sport. Jake, how you doing?
James, Davis, everyone tuning in, doing well. An interesting one, an interesting bantering with Boone. Some hot in the streets topics. Some Talking Yanks hot in the streets topics. So, yeah, I mean, post Labor Day, man, the season ends early. We've got less than 4 weeks of regular season baseball.
Crazy.
Right.
It's getting real close.
Getting real close.
Come on. Win.
I'm getting real close to getting some SeatGeek. You know what I'm saying? Went to the game on Friday with Joe's. SeatGeek, code YANKS15, 15% off any tickets on SeatGeek, whether you're a new customer or not. No matter how many times you bought tickets using SeatGeek before, Yanks15, you get 15% off your next order. We were yelling at our tech guy Mike the other day because he was like, "Oh, I might have gone to my last Yankee game this year," and we're like, "Dude, you're not going to go to a September game? That's totally different."
Oh, we got to try and put in seats for the Orioles one.
Code YANKS15, 15% off your next order. Click the link in the description. Oh, and also a reminder, it's our DraftKings DFS League. Every Tuesday, people. Come on. I'll see you in there. Had a good week last week. I think there's a link for that, too. So, I don't know. We'll see it. We'll see you on the field. Pick a lineup.
Pick a lineup.
It's fun.
Lineup.
Put DJ and Trevi in there.
To Boone. Here we go. Another Bantering with Boone brought to you by Beatbox. Boone joining us from Arlington, Jake's old stomping grounds. Yeah.
Dallas. We're in Dallas right now.
Oh, they're keeping you okay.
Wow.
Doing the 20-minute commute to the stadium. Good for you guys.
What do they call it? The Metroplex here?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Good town. Had a lot of fun there.
What stadium has the longest drive from team, like, well, I guess I don't want you to dox where you stay, but.
It depends where you stay. We stay at different places sometimes when we're, like if we stay out in Laguna, when we're in Anaheim, that can be 40 minutes. When we're in the bubble playing in the playoffs in San Diego, we stayed at a place that was like 40 minutes. So it just varies.
Let's start on a high note. A pretty interesting family affair last night. You come from a baseball family. We saw another baseball family at it. I was laughing personally because they were like, Al Leiter, because he's got connects to he's obviously has connects to the Yankees. Him and Volpe, high school teammates. They both still look like kids. And I was just laughing that at the end they're like, yeah, and his cousin's on the Yanks too. And it's like, what's going on here? So I mean, as a baseball family man, what else were we? I guess how was the experience for you last night?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. You try to have at least while you're in the grind and the competition of the game, you do try to have an appreciation for those kind of things that come up course of the season. Pretty neat that two guys that are so close coming up, we're signed to go to Vanderbilt together, first round picks, getting to compete against each other for the first time, was pretty neat. Our first time seeing Leiter in person, man, he's got a good arm. He looks like he's going to be pretty good. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. And to see Volpe almost taking him deep there and them having that little moment on the mound was pretty cool.
Now, sometimes I look at that first pitch from Leiter, it's fastball to Volpe and their old friends. And not saying this happened, but it just cracks me up if you ever, hey, if we ever face each other, I'll first pitch fastball, like, a handshake deal or just word of mouth. And you hear stories about guys saying that to each other. There's a famous one that I forget who it was. But he ended up lying and the guy got mad. It was recent. But did you have any situations, any good friends or teammates that you went on the face?
When I was a teenager, and my dad was still with the Angels, his teammate, Mike Witt, who was obviously a really good starting pitcher in the 80s, he said, if you ever get to the big leagues while I'm still playing and I face you, heater down the middle. And I never got to face him. But I do remember that. And then actually Brendan Donnelly told me, because we played together in the minor leagues with the Reds, and then he went to the Angels, was part of that World Championship team, their bullpen.
He's nasty for a couple years there.
Well, in 2003, I was on the National League All-Star team. He was on the American League All-Star team. And he goes, and the day before, he goes, if I face you, I'll give you a first pitch heater. Don't take me deep. And I wasn't sure if he was going to honor it. So it actually throws a little like, is he gonna? And sure enough, he did. And I think I fouled one straight back, and then the next one I lined out to right field. So Brendan honored it.
I like that.
Yeah,
pretty nice. Yeah, not honoring it seems so much more fun from the pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It almost gives them the upper hand. I feel like, because it's
mentally,
like, is he gonna do this?
We had Rizzo return, and right away saw him make a really smooth play at first, coming up, throwing to third on those balls in, where Rizzo is in a world of his own, how close he gets on bunts. Almost scary close, but that was nice. And then he comes through in a lot of hits, not really hits that Rizzo probably felt great about off the bat, but the result is great. I mean, what's it like having him return and having his presence as a part of the lineup in the dugout again?
Yeah, really good. I really like where I feel like he's at physically and mentally. I feel like he's got some confidence in how he's feeling. I feel like he is locked in. I don't know. I've just got a good vibe about him the last couple of weeks being around him, about just where he's at mentally and physically, and what's at stake for us moving forward. And I feel like he's had pretty good at bats here these first two games. I feel like getting the right swings off, just missed a couple pitches, has gotten some results with a few hits. I thought had a couple good at bats against lefties they brought in that were tough matchups for him, that he kind of is having the right at bats. I think he's looked great at first. That play the other day where gets the lead runner was very under control, like that. Don't rush, but go quick, kind of like just his clock, his rhythm and timing, I thought was really good. A couple good picks last night over at first. So excited to have him back.
I'm guessing he'll be getting today off with a lefty on the bump.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't a lefty that I really feel a need to sit our lefties, but it's like kind of looking at the week, and this is probably the day. So I'll have him down to start today. And
then when do the kind of limitations come off? I know he's returning and you go, and he's an older dude, so you go slower, but at what point do you kind of say, hey, and is he going to get to that point? Like, is he going to find himself in a platoon? Do you know? Is he just, hey, you're the first baseman?
We'll see. I kind of look at him as good to go for every day. I feel like physically he's in a good spot. That said, I'll probably pick a lefty matchup here, whenever it pops up to give him that day at least to start. So, but that'll be kind of fluid moving forward.
Let's rip the Band-Aid quick. We bumped a little bit before the show. Dominguez has been the hot topic in the Yankees universe. Obviously, we got introduced to him. It's like it's the whole picture, man. It's the kid with the nickname the Martian. It's the kid who got called up in one of the tougher Yankee years, and he goes deep off Verlander, and It's all of it. That September call-ups come. His name's not on the list. I guess, is it, I think we hear the Yankees organization mostly say playing time, and it's reps at AAA. And I guess, if he was even on the big league squad, you guys are seeing what Verdugo's got. He's in his prime. Like, kids are never guaranteed in this game. It basically just comes down to playing time. Like, if playing time was there, he would be on the squad, and we can't guarantee that every day right now.
I mean, a little bit of that. And also, he hasn't played a ton this year either, and that clear avenue is not there for him yet right now. So he's was very much and remains very much in the conversation, going back a couple weeks now, and will remain in that conversation moving forward. Like, ultimately we want to win, we want to do the, so, and obviously with kind of a disjointed year for him with the Tommy John and then coming back from that and getting off to a pretty good start, and then having the oblique injury that set him back a month, and coming back and struggling a little bit out of the chute from that. But we do feel like in a good way, like the last 2-3 weeks really started to string together the quality of that bat. So he's very much in the mix right now. And feel like if something, especially if something pops up, like, you feel really good about him being there, that, you could slot in. But we're paying attention to it, and, we'll just continue to see where we're at as we move forward.
With the outfield lineup and Stanton currently hitting the shit out of the ball, to put it in fan terms, is that what's my question here? We've found Judge with DH days to get him off his feet in a division race, and being so close with the Orioles, kind of the only division that's down to the wire, really.
Yeah.
Is it tough to manage that? Do you look at the schedule way ahead to find lanes where you can get Judge a day, or is it off feel of how all the guys feel? And then the other question with Soto and Wright, we saw him have some trouble, and Grisham on the bench. Does that come into your brain? We asked you at the beginning of the season about shoring up the outfield spots, but you do lose Soto's bat, which I know is you don't want to do. So, okay.
Yeah, not really. That doesn't come into play. I look a little week out, but also kind of go series to series, and then just kind of work through with my conversations with Stanton or with Aaron, because I still do value, especially when we go through, like right now, we'll come out of the off day and we'll have 10 in a row, right? Against Chicago, Kansas City, Boston. Like, so, you're just, and guys are, beat up in different ways. So you pick your spots. I want to be smart too with Giancarlo. So, picking that day game after a night game where, maybe you got a lefty the following day and you got a tough righty. It's like, oh, that's probably the day to get Grisham in there. And I can steal a DH day for Judge on a day game after a night game, things like that. So you just try and manage that and pay attention to it. And in the end, you're trying to maximize everyone as much as you possibly can to have them on the field as much as you possibly can.
With Stan coming through with that pinch hit, and I believe he's been pinch hitting is incredibly tough, but he had a really bad stretch this year. I think he's got 2 hits now, pinch hitting.
He's had some good at bats too, even going back to last year and this year. Like he smoked a couple balls pinch hitting too, I think, for outs.
Now, does it get too nerdy and in the weeds to look at the team's bullpen to choose the day where you go Judge, DH, stand on the bench, knowing they don't have the matchups for him in the bullpen, because they went to a righty in that one game and he just put it off the wall? Or is that too advanced?
A little bit. And that's, because on those days, like let's say G's down or whatever against a righty, like it's the day and I'm DH and Judge, typically we're going to have more lefties in the lineup that day just because Grisham falls in there, if Cabrera's in there. So maybe especially the second half of your lineup, there may be 4 out of 5 lefties on a given day. And if they have lefties down there, you've got some opportunities and you're trying to leverage that, maybe that Giancarlo at bat in a big spot or somebody else. And, the thing I've noticed is we're seeing this not so much with our team. Like I don't pinch hit that much just because of our personnel but we're seeing a lot of teams now, kind of out of that Tampa mold where they built their roster to have all those complementary players where you almost see like a line shift. You'll get a lineup of lefties and they got righties on the bench and they shoot those pinch hitters at every chance they get. We're seeing that with Boston, see it with Detroit. But teams around the league, I feel like more and more kind of trying to build those scenarios.
Dodgers has kind of done that for years with their lefty righty.
There's a lot of teams that are built that way now.
Yeah. I guess it's an interesting because you start going into non-measurable stuff of like, the teams that are built for that know that they have that every day. Like you're wired that way, where the teams that aren't. And again, a lot of that's good stuff. Like, Judge, right. Soto, you don't have to debate that a lot.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah, it's an interesting thought exercise. Hey, I think the meat of this episode, which I know Jimmy's really excited, so I'm going to kick it to my guy a little bit. I didn't Jake from Staten Island you on Dominguez, so Jimmy's got questions about the upcoming pitching. So if you could help my guy out a little bit.
Oh yeah. Last week I suggested getting Cole in line Baltimore in last game of the season. My bad. You guys already did that. I had my math wrong. So that's you agreed with me, but had to disagree because I was telling you bad math. Yeah, bump Cole up. Anyway, Cole is now in line.
But it's all we're a ways away from that and moving parts, so it's not even that we're lining it up for that necessarily. But anyway, go ahead.
But you have, which I like. All right, but you split up Heel and Clarke's rehab games. They're staggered. I thought that at one point it seemed like they were going to be on the same day, or maybe they did a day and then one got bumped. And I don't know if that's due to minor league timing or not. You said there's a good chance both join the rotation in Chicago. Mm-hmm. If you wanted to keep Cole regular, he would get the third game in Chicago. And I know he is a creature of that. You've even gone to a pseudo 6-man in past years where Cole stayed the same, but everyone else kind of floated around. And then yesterday you said it might be a one-time through 6-man rotation.
Yeah, it could be coming out of that series or coming out of the off day. We could do some form of a 6-man. It just depends. Like we want to see how Garrett is today coming off of the cramping and making sure all's good there. And so we'll see. I haven't made a decision yet. We, probably by day's end today, we'll have a good idea of, hopefully how the next 5 to 8 days will look.
Well, Heel threw 80 pitches in his game.
Yep.
And he's lined up to start the first game in Chicago if you keep him regular. But that's not locked into place.
We'll see. I want to.
Okay.
Blake and I and the pitching crew will kind of finalize what we want to do heading into this weekend too.
Now, in past years, the CC years, there was always a little bit of a late August or September break period. CC, and a couple years ago, Nestor went with got a hamstring injury, and that gave him a little bit respite before the postseason. Is there any thought to skipping a Nestor or a Stroman or Rodon to give them just a breather before the final stretch in the postseason to fit this in, or is the goal
we'll see. I mean, we'll kind of consider everything. Like with Stroh a couple weeks ago, we pushed him back because we had a couple of off days, and we pushed him back to work on a few things. So different guys are dealing with minor things that you keep in mind, like, would they benefit from a 7th or 8th day or a skip? So we'll consider. We're kind of considering everything, but we haven't decided anything, and I want to make sure we get with everyone to make sure we're buttoned up exactly how we want to be.
Okay. Is a piggyback situation being considered, or do you value everyone starting?
Yeah, no,
being a
that
starter?
could be in play a time through. Again, I think everything's kind of on the table. Yeah.
Okay. In theory, if you do piggybacks, you would want it to be righty lefty usually, right? Like you want it to be. Not
I guess ideally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
What was that?
I don't know. Heel Nestor sounds like a good dynamic. It's,
Heel Nestor.
Flame-throwing righty, sidewinding lefty, set your lineup.
It's a good buddy cop pitching duo.
What's that?
It's a good buddy cop pitching duo.
Look at you guys just trying to read.
No, that was my only fish. Everything else, that was my only fishing question. Everything, I'm just interested in setting it up. At some point, you are going to have to set it up to get guys ready. I mean, usually it happens 2 weeks before spring training, and then you can figure out the opening day rotation.
Yeah.
We're coming up against that.
Yeah.
All you Cub Scouts listening, stop listening to this.
Hey, Cubs are on a heater, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Dang.
Playing well. Any other injury stuff? Like I saw Trevino just pitched a back-to-back. Hamilton had the back thing. I think he's throwing today or tomorrow. I forget.
I think he's tomorrow.
Okay.
But yes, Hammy's good. That was a minor deal that kind of a bummer because it kept him out of that rehab start. We probably would have had him with us here, but I don't think it's anything too significant.
Okay.
With Wellesley, he got starts. He's faced 3 lefties in a row. He got 2 out of the 3 starts. He's hitting the crap out of the ball. I mean, every time he hits the ball, it looks like he's smoking it. Will he continue to get more starts against lefties? I think he's actually got some hits. More like the last chunk against lefties has been better than the previous chunk. Like the last 30 at bats, better than that. So he is building a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like he's given a good at bat. Like he hasn't hit for the power against a lefty yet, but I do feel like he's I feel like over time, like he'll very much hold his own against lefties. So I'm not too worried about that. But it's also, part of that is the stretch we were going through where we were facing all those lefties. So he's going to, he was getting some of those starts too. And, but going forward, when you're facing kind of more of a normal, whatever, call it 5 out of 7 righties, I'll probably pick, the days for him to be down will probably be against those lefties. Like today, Trevi, Austin's played 3 in a row right now, including a day game after a night game. So it's like today, lefty again. Even though it's Heaney who's kind of neutral, I feel like this is a good day to get Trevi in there and then get Wells back in there the next day. So yeah, just a little bit of a scheduling thing with that week we had with lefties.
I have a compliment and fun conversation, then a question about something else. But Jazz has been better than anyone could have guessed, and we all thought he was going to be good. And, when you guys traded for him, you said we're better today than when we didn't have him.
Yeah.
But I have loved his ability to add to the offense without getting a hit, like productive outs, beating out the double play. Mm-hmm. The awareness on the base paths and just making people pay attention to him has been so exciting to watch. Did you know the running game and like the moving the runner over at bat? Did you know those were part of his skill set to this level before you guys got him?
He's a better player than I knew, frankly. I mean, I haven't seen him before he got here, seen him play that much.
Yeah.
Certainly aware of him and know, talented guy and everything, but he's, yeah, his instincts are really good. He's I feel like defensively his instincts have been good and it's not easy to take to a position as well as he has when you haven't played there, even though, I don't think it's too foreign to him just because he came up being on the left side of the diamond. So there's some comfort there, but he keeps impressing me with his clock and a couple really good plays out there last night. His his instincts, like you said, on the base paths, obviously he's got great speed, but he's very instinctive. And that's been impressive to me. And, obviously he's been impactful at the plate. Like you said, a couple situations where he's gotten guys over, but he's also hit for power. He's also gotten some big hits. He is a really good player, and I think has a chance to be, he might just be scratching the surface of what he can be here.
Yeah, I just absolutely have. I'm glued to the TV. His quick hands on pitches inside, like that hit yesterday, was ridiculous. Coney broke it down on the replay. It's crazy. On the flip side of that conversation, the game against the Cardinals might have been the sloppiest baseball game played this year by both teams in all situations and weather. You got pouring rain, blinding sun, gray clouds. But that game, and then yesterday, Judge comes up, pumps, fakes, does throw. For fans that don't know what goes into situations, Verdugo was slid to the right, and then the ball's hit down the line, and Soto's in and over his head. What conversations go into after all of those kind of miscues and misplays, or what goes into like the Judge situation? Obviously, Judge is a great player, and instincts are there. What goes into him coming up firing versus pump faking?
Well, I think he was going to get the ball right to Volpe, and I think Volpe pointed him to second. And then Simeon did a good job of going. So, perfect world, we get that in there and hopefully hold the runner there at second. I think Volpe maybe thought there wasn't going to be an issue with him going home because Aaron was able to cut the ball off well in the gap. So I think he pointed him to second once the throw went there. It was a good job by them, a base run and scoring the run there. And
then on the Verdugo one, he just misses it. But if you look at his positioning, he had just slid over on that defensive shift and then missed it by a little bit. And Soto had played in a little bit. My guess is to cheat the throw home in case he got a grounder to him to come in and then they go over his head. Yeah, just the situation that calls for it. Like they're pretty detailed about where we have guys and in different counts and different situations. So, got caught a little bit therein. Okay.
So,
yeah.
Wow. Hey, Boone, as you know, we got to hit you with the trivia presented by Beatbox. And then we'll send you on your way to sweep the Texas Rangers. Beatbox is the perfect pairing for a Yanks game. Do yourself a favor. Hit the link in the description to find a Beatbox near you. Man, we've been playing the managerial questions with you recently. There's one active ballpark. So one active ballpark that you have not yet managed in. What stadium is it?
Wrigley.
It's Wrigley Field. You're going there this weekend. So that's kind of like a manager bucket list for you.
There you go. That's right.
Wow. Damn. Was your 18 was the first year managing?
Yeah.
Does it feel like 6 years? 6 years? Is this too heavy for late in it?
It's my 7th.
Does it feel like 7? Does it feel like 14? Does it feel like 2?
Feels like a lot. Especially answering you guys every week.
Yeah.
Do you know that you guys have been to 9 straight rubber matches?
Really?
Yes.
Let's hope it ends there.
Yes. 2 in a row. And then 3.
That's right.
All right. Thanks, Boone. Appreciate you.
All right, fellas.
See ya. That was Boone. That was us. We bantered. Now we will discuss the banter. Brought to you by Under 510. 2 of us in that conversation. Under 5'10". One not allowed, not invited. See you, Boone. You're out.
I was going to have them guess.
Oh.
It's okay.
Bad.
Under 5'10", shirts, hoodies, tees. And if you're under 5'10", if you're over, you're out. If you're under, you're in. The clothes fits better. Because turns out, if you design clothes for people under 5'10", it fits them better. This T-shirt, yeah. The shorts, the joggers I basically wear all off season long. Hey, $10 off coupon if you give them a try. There's a link in the description. If you're under 5'10", I have to recommend. It is kind of my short king gospel. If I meet another shorty, I'm like, yeah, the under 5'10" is very real. You have to give it a shot. Go do it. Shop.under510.com/talkin.
To peel the curtain back a little bit for you guys, before the show started, we were talked about Verdugo and Dominguez a little bit, and it's always odd to repeat conversations, but
there's an elephant in the room.
We disagreed with some stuff, so we didn't get fully into it on air. They like Verdugo over Dominguez.
They like Verdugo. Yeah, that felt.
And we have a sharp stat coming up that might be odd now.
Yeah, I mean the Dominguez thing. It kind of felt like a first date for a little bit, where like they both knew that the guy dated one of her friends, and it was like, hey, at some point we got to talk about this. I don't know. They believe in someone who's been a big leaguer for a long time. And maybe that's the right move, maybe it's not. But glad we talked about it a little bit. But yeah. I thought because we were kind of nice there, I thought I'd give you a little more pitching-wise. But they're going to figure it out tonight.
I think he legitimately has not told the guys yet.
Yes.
So if he was to say,
declare
if he was to say heel starting game 1 and Nestor hears that, Nestor's going to be like, whoa, that's like right now, that's Nestor's spot.
Were you fishing there?
At the very end, I was.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what they're going to do. It doesn't make sense what they're going to do.
They
don't
need
have
to do
enough,
something that's not obvious.
They don't have enough slots. It has to be a piggyback, and then it would be heel Nestor. If you that's the best version. Like heel Clarke is fine, but they separated their timelines.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that would spark me is if they had heel come out of the bullpen. That would be a sign of something, but I don't think they're going to do that.
That's why I was saying, is it important for them to get starts like heel and Clarke, and then they give another dude like a breather?
Right.
Because
it kind of worked for Stroman.
Yeah, like and they've used it on Nestor, the fake hamstring injury. They did that 2 years ago. Right. So like we could be looking at a.
Well, Stroman wasn't even like injury. They just found a gap.
Yeah, they just found a gap.
So but that's the thing. There's an off day before it.
No, but the Yankees have always phantom IL'd people at the end of seasons.
Right, but that's out.
They could.
That's out. Get in trouble for that nowadays.
I just did it with you.
But yeah, there's an off day right before.
80 pitches in his day back.
I think they have their plan. Garrett Cole left the mound with a cramp and basically told everyone, I'm fine. And you could see the cramp in his calf happen. I think they know what they want to do. I still think they're going to play it coy until
they are ready to say it. I think combination of they have to literally talk with all the people involved, like Jimmy's saying, and Clarke did his rehab yesterday, so they probably haven't talked to him day after yet, just to be like you feel good, right?
The next conversation is going to be they're going to say we're going to figure it out on our off day because we wanted to see our bullpen usage. That's the next one, and then we'll get an actual answer. I'll be surprised if they give us a real full answer before then.
Yeah. Well, if they figure it out today and then
say it after the game tomorrow,
then say it after the game today, then talk with all the players, that might happen. You might hear it in the pregame, Boone's pregame.
I just think they never feel a rush to get that information out.
Yeah, I think once they know, they'll say it. And then coming up, they have to go to a 4-man at some point, maybe. Depends where they're at in the standings and all that. they have 2 off days. They have back-to-back Monday off days. And to stay on the 5-man through all of that would just like limit. You would just lose starts from your top guys in a divisional race. They're going to have to skip someone. So I think they might use
keep Cole regular.
Oh, we'll skip Nestor here. All right, we'll skip Rodon. He's throwing a lot. Or whatever they're going to plan is to do.
Yeah, they don't like publicly facing demoting guys. And taking a starter out of the rotation is kind of doing that.
Yeah, exactly. So it would usually be a breather.
Which ties into the Verdugo combo.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all right.
Sharpen them up.
Yeah, ready yourself.
Yeah. Note on the Sharp Stats, the last name is Red Murray, 1913 Giants. You'll get that later.
Sharp Stats is brought to you by Super Lost Coffee. Super Lost Coffee was founded here in the city, in New York City, by 2 friends. Sounds familiar. For better coffee for both coffee drinkers and coffee farmers. Okay, gonna dive into that. Their wide variety of freshly roasted specialty coffee delivered straight to your door with 30% off all our coffees plus free shippings. Superlost self-service platform that gives you full control. Want to try a new roast? Swap it out with a click. Need to pause or change the delivery frequency? Done. We just had to figure that out because we got it for our office and we had no idea how much coffee that many people consumed. Math. It's all brewed locally in Brooklyn. Free nationwide shipping with no minimums. Head over to superlost.com. Use code JOHNBOY, 30% off your Superlost order. That's superlost.com. Promo code JOHNBOY. Link in the description.
Hey, fellas, it's the Queen of Stats. And, well, last week we made a case to get DJ out of the everyday lineup. And it looks like that might be a thing now that Rizzo is back. So this week, we're talking about Alex Verdugo and why they keep giving him everyday at-bats. Well, according to Aaron Boone, and this is a quote, from his press conference on Sunday, quote, "I do think he's been a bit unlucky this year as you kind of scratch underneath. It's kind of in line with what he's done most of his career as far as the contact quality," end quote. Aaron, well, you know what? I'm sorry. There's not a single word of truth in that statement. He's not been unlucky, and his contact quality is definitely not in line with what he's done most of his career.
Katie.
So let's go to StatCast.
Okay.
If you look at his hard hit rate, his max exit velocity, his sweet spot rate, which is based on launch angle, his expected batting average, his expected slugging, his expected WOBA, all of those, they would be his lowest in any full season of his career. And of those metrics, those ones that supposedly make him unlucky and contact quality, only his expected batting average is above league average, and that's just barely. Now, for Yankee fans, there are 2 things I think that, what makes him so frustrating for Yankee fans. First of all, well, entering Monday, he's tied for the most ground outs to second base in Major League Baseball. Yeah, that sucks. And this stat is amazing. With runners in scoring position and 2 outs, so, kind of the opportunities where you want him to come through, he has a 111 batting average, a 158 on-base percentage, and a 204 slugging percentage. His 362 OPS is the second worst among all players with at least 50 plate appearances in that situation this season. His OPS plus in that situation, which is, kind of putting it against league average, is literally 0. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, we're going to do a similar analysis for Verdugo that we did for LeMahieu last week. So this time, I'm going to look at World Series winning teams with a full-time corner outfielder, which is a position that typically provides a good amount of production at the plate, that are as bad offensively as Verdugo, who entered Monday with 556 plate appearances and an OPS plus of 83. So my criteria, it was 550 plate appearances, an OPS plus below 85, and at least 2/3 of games played at either right field or left field, or a combination of that. So those World Series teams, how many of them had a player like that? 2. The 2016 Cubs with Jason Hayward, and the 1912 Red Sox with Harry Hooper. Now, if you expand it to teams that just made the World Series, you get 3 more. The 2001 Yankees with Chuck Knobloch, who was a left fielder at that point, the 1985 Cardinals with Vince Coleman, and the 1913
She got cut off by the voicemail there, but I believe it's 1934. Pete Fox
It's
of
Pete
the Tigers.
Fox.
I believe my independent research turned that up.
Pete Fox. Thanks, Katie.
I mean, Katie with the sharp stats, really, the knife's been sharp.
That's sharp.
The knife has been sharp.
Katie's trying to win a World Series. That's what I'm about.
No nonsense. Shout out to Pete Fox and Harry Hooper. Nickname Hoop. Middle name Bartholomew. Harry Bartholomew Hooper.
I'm out on Harry Hooper for personal reasons.
Hall of Famer, 4 times World Series winner.
I know.
You don't like him?
No.
Why not?
Hello, Harry Hooper.
Buried in Our Lady of Mount Carmel Cemetery.
Don't share
Aptos,
that.
California.
We're going to have a Judge
I got
Plax.
buddies in Aptos.
We're going to have a Judge Plaque situation. What did you like about that?
Harry Hooper only played for Sox, Red Sox and White Sox. Yeah, I don't know. So I want to, whatever. This is going to sound soft to some that just are angry. So I want to just get ahead of this a little bit. This is where the biggest problem in communication is showing itself. When Boone says, I think he's been a bit unlucky this year, it's kind of in line with what he's done most of his career as far as contact quality. He's not going to Baseball Savant and cross-checking himself. Their analytics department is telling Boone this, and he's relaying it. And that's why Judge last year demanded someone in the dugout that understood analytics, because Judge and the players were saying, we're getting told bullshit, and we want a better source. And this is what's happening. Like, they're just, and I was telling this to some players we were talking to the other day. You were there, Jake, where I was like, yeah, because if that guy comes out and says everything's great, or he says, no, this is bad, it's like, okay, well, then you're out because your analytics are hurting us. So they just like sugarcoat everything. It's very clear he's not having a good season. He was for a little bit, but that lasted very short amount of time. Like even this current 11-game hot streak, if you watch all the hits, you're not going to be like, oh, hey, ooh.
Something fundamentally changed.
It's just a lot of blues.
Yeah, I think it's just the Yanks end up in disbelief when players don't play to the back of their baseball card, which I get it. And we just, like Katie said, we just did this with DJ. Verdugo, I mean, DJ and Father Time, like, again, I ask you to go cross-reference baseball players this year or previous years. When you start hitting a certain age, the amount of quality baseball players that age goes down and down. Verdugo, the age thing shouldn't be a factor. He should be in his prime. It's just really tough to see, man. I mean, the runners in scoring position, 2 outs numbers are horrific, and that should be a strength, right? That should be when
he's a bat to ball guy.
When you talk about teams around baseball, like the Royals have great numbers with this because they have a bunch of contact hitters.
But DJs are probably better than that.
Probably close. Katie did say he was second worst. That I don't know, man. That's it's really tough to see with the quote unquote big bad wolf of Dominguez lurking. That, yeah, I don't know if they're going to hide behind his defense, which credit to Verdugo. He has been very solid defensively this year. Strong arm going back on balls. But to get that level of production, it's really hard to win a World Series. And that's what it used to be measured on. And I don't know. I don't know. It seems like you have an option to look into at the least. And yeah, I think quote-wise, I think that's Boone just trying to keep it moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think they think there's a, back in the day, there wasn't a top Yankees podcast out there getting to the bottom of it, It was kind of just, who's our kind of kooky guy, Yankees reporter that shoots from the hip when we need it?
Sherman?
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Only guy that would go hunt out that one is Sherman.
Yeah. Bummer, dude. Who's he getting hits off of? Like, I don't know why what he's even what he's done recently, which like it's a 356.7 batting average. It's a 357 on base or whatever. It's an 800 OPS. It's good. And yeah, I'm not complaining about it, but I don't think it's enough to say we're good on testing out what Dominguez can offer, because it's 10 singles and 2 extra base hits and 1 walk.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think they've got themselves in a weird position, or they don't fully believe in Dominguez, or they think Dominguez might have like a hole in his swing that they don't want other teams to scout out in the next coming weeks. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense now that we seemingly have all the information of like it would be fine to call up Dominguez. That something's amiss, and if it's just that Yankee like veteran stuff, we take when guys come to the Yankees, and they're a veteran, we want to make sure they know they're going to be taken care of. That's not winning you anything. That's never won any team anything.
Yeah, the only thing that like
nowhere free agents sign teams that offer them the most money.
It's true. It's true. He is like finding. Going the other way, like that stat that he's got the most ground outs to second.
Right.
Recently, of his hits,
like in this,
a decent amount have been to the left of second base. I think more have been to the left of second base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6. So half and half.
Yeah,
that's more than right usually.
I don't want to knock him for the 9 games he's been good recently. Like that's what
I'm not.
asking.
That's not.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking. I'm just saying I don't think it's enough for it to be like Dominguez shouldn't get some shots.
Yeah, I think they've.
It doesn't cancel out the 3 months they've played him every day. And
the Yankees like to extend their leash as far as they can possibly go. Look at Gallo. Look at DJ. Look at whoever. They were bringing the Verdugo leash as far as they could possibly go, and with a week left on that leash, he's kind of gone, which I think has put the Yankees in almost the worst situation. If Verdugo plays like this till the end of the season, we would all be happy with Alex Verdugo. It's kind of what Glaber's done for a month, though, that we've been like, oh, this is nice. Glaber's hitting like Glaber.
Do you think DJ's going to start tonight?
I had him getting 1 start in the 6-game streak.
Lefty pitcher.
Heen dog.
Rizzo just got back. Probably a Trevi night.
We'll find out in a second, or maybe this is a reverse timeline.
Ooh.
I think it already happened.
All right. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you next time or tonight. Yes app. If you're Tuesday night, you listen to this on time.
Only Tuesday.
Farewell. Go Yanks. Tell them, Grams.
Go Yankees.